Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another YouTube video. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to properly optimize your computer in order to play XDefiant with the maximum FPS possible and the lowest input lag possible on your system. And we're going to go over in-game settings, some custom configurations of the config for the game, and then some Ubisoft launcher settings and some general Windows settings that everyone should do regardless of what game you play. So let's get started. All right, so once you're in the game, you're going to basically just go to the settings on the top right, and you're go to gameplay and UEI, and pretty much for everyone I would recommend just maxing out the field of view just so you have a better visual understanding of your surroundings and basically just see everything way faster. And then everything else down here you could pretty much leave it up to you and whatever you really like for your gameplay. But obviously you want to make sure your FPS display and your ping display are both enabled, and then you can just go to mouse and keyboard on the left and just make sure mouse acceleration is turned off, and then you're going to go to video and graphics and make sure display mode is in full screen and not windowed full screen. Always full screen. Display resolution, you can use your native resolution or a slightly lower resolution in order to boost FPS, but however, for most of you that are on a modern graphics card, I would just recommend using your native resolution. Refresh rate, max this out as always. Triple buffering, you can try turning this on if you want more FPS, but if you care more about latency, I would just recommend leaving this off. For AMD and for Intel, you can turn on reduced latency, and that will slightly reduce your FPS, but it will help your latency a ton. So if you're on an Intel graphics card or an AMD graphics card, I would recommend turning this on or testing on and off. NVIDIA Reflex low latency, this is only if you are on a NVIDIA graphics card. Always set this to on. I wouldn't really recommend on plus boost, and that's just a general thing for most games. Some of you have GPU overclocks, some of you have weird things with your GPU where it just, whenever it boosts, it just causes stutter. So it's better to just leave it on because it doesn't cause the GPU to boost, it just runs at normal stock speeds. So scroll down. I maxed out the brightness and contrast for myself just because I like the game and how it looks on there. And now DX12 renderer, you can try this out if you're on a Radeon graphics card. You might have better FPS with this on DX12. You might get more input lag or a worse mouse feel. So I would test around with this if you're on a Radeon graphics card. However, if you're on NVIDIA, just leave it on DX11. Graphics quality, just set it to pretty much low. VSync mode off, and then frame rate limit, you can set it to off. If you want to set a custom frame rate limit, I would recommend doing that in the config file, which is what I'll show later, just because this is only maxed out at 200 FPS, and a lot of you are probably going to get way more than 200 FPS. Me personally, I get like 600 FPS in game, so the frame rate cap in the game just doesn't work for me. So shadow quality low, spot shadows low, pretty much everything is on low or off. Resolution scale, I would always use just 100%. Obviously you can lower this if you want more FPS, just because it will use less graphics card power. Sharpening, you can max this out, that's what I personally do. Particle detail, I just set this to low. Global reflection quality, I really don't care about reflections in game. I just want to get the most FPS and the lowest latency, so I'm going to turn this to low. Local reflection quality, same thing, just off. And then you can scroll down, and lens flare, I turn this off because it's annoying. And chromatic aberration, I set this to off. And you can go to language and accessibility, make sure to apply, and everything here you could pretty much try to turn it off. So the chat, the flashbang effect, I set to dark instead of it just flashing my eyes. But yeah, those are going to be the best settings in game. And if we hop in the test round real quickly, I'll show you guys what that looks like. So with OBS running in the background and some other stuff running in the background, we're getting about 600 to 540 frames. I lost about 40 frames just with OBS in the background. But yeah, around 600 FPS with these settings right here, and that is with the hidden config settings not changed, which is not bad for the PC system that I have, with it being completely stock settings in terms of CPU clock speeds and RAM speeds. So let's go to our documents folder in order to configure the config file for this game. So all you want to do, you want to open up your file explorer, go to documents, my games, XDefiant, and then you're going to double click on bc_gfx settings.cfg, and then just open this with notepad, and then you can pretty much just find DOF, make sure this is on false, DOF quality, set it to 0, and then fog, set this to 0, and then you're going to scroll down, and max frame rate, this is where you can actually set a custom frame rate limit. So for me personally, just because I get a ton of FPS in this game, I'll probably just set it to 288 just because I have a 144 hertz monitor. So if you're on a 60 hertz monitor and you get high FPS, just cap it at 240. If you're on a 240 FPS monitor, just cap it 240. If you're on a 360 FPS, just cap it 360. If you're on a 500 hertz or above, just leave it on unlimited. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, if you want a smoother experience, definitely capping it at your refresh rate or a multiple of your refresh rate is going to help a lot. So make sure your parallax mapping to is set to false. But yeah, that's pretty much all the settings that you have to change in this config file. Just click click File and then Save and then close out of it and just relaunch your game and see how the changes are. Now, if you don't really like the changes that we did and you want to reset this for whatever reason, just delete the file, this one right here, and then relaunch your game and it will reset everything back to default, and then you can rewatch this video and do whatever you want. So now let's go to the Ubisoft Connect and make sure to disable some useless settings in there. So open up your Ubisoft Connect and then you're just going to click on your profile, you're going to click settings, and then you're going to disable the enable post-game notification, and then go to interface and then just turn off enable in-game overlay for supported games, and go to notifications, turn both of these off, and then you could pretty much just press close and then close out of Ubisoft. Now we're going to go over some basic Windows settings that everyone should do regardless of what game you play, and we're going to get started with NVIDIA control panel or AMD Radeon control panel. So if you're on NVIDIA, all you want to do is right click, go to NVIDIA control panel, and you want to go to adjust image settings with preview, and then click use my preference emphasizing, set this to performance, and then press apply. Go to manage 3D settings and make sure everything from image scaling all the way down to anti-aliasing mode is set to off, and then you're going to scroll down and turn on the latency mode. Setting this to ultra is going to hurt your in-game performance if the game uses reflex, so make sure you only use on. And then you want to scroll down, power management mode, prefer maximum performance, preferred refresh rate, highest available, shader cache size just 100 gigabytes or unlimited, texture filtering quality, high performance, threaded optimization on or auto, it doesn't really matter, vertical sync off, and then press apply, and we could pretty much just close out of your NVIDIA control panel. Now if you're on AMD, do this. Alright, so once you're done doing that, you're going to go to your settings, right click on your desktop, go to display settings, scroll down, go to graphics, change default graphics settings, and then you're going to enable hardware accelerated GPU scheduling. And if you're on Windows 11, enable optimizations for Windows games. Now go back again, and then you're going to go to power and sleep, additional power settings, and make sure you have high performance checked on this. And then you're going to close out of this, you're going to go back to home, you're going to go to apps, startup, disable anything here that you do not need, and then go to apps and feature and uninstall anything here that you do not need for gaming. Now go back to home and go to privacy, disable anything here except camera and microphone, but everything else you can disable, especially background apps. Now go back to home, and then if you have gaming, you're gonna go to gaming and make sure game mode is on and Xbox game bar is turned off. Those are two really important ones, and that's pretty much it. Your PC should be optimized in order to play XDefiant at the lowest input lag possible and the maximum FPS for your current PC specs. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment down below if you gotten a huge boost of FPS from this guide, and if you guys enjoyed, make sure to subscribe and follow my other YouTube videos on numerous other things other than XDefiant. And if you guys are interested in a PC optimization service where you get zero input delay, way more FPS in pretty much all of your games, then go to the link in the description and book an optimization directly with me, where I go way more in depth in terms of optimization from a custom Windows installation all the way to BIOS settings and overclocking. But that's gonna be it for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.